Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. How you doing, John?
I'm excellent, Tyler.
Coming in high energy, peak caffeinated today. We're ready to go.
As you should be. Absolutely.
Let's do this. I've had a sick
My favorite
wife.
day, by the way, if we're going to talk about caffeination.
I got a sick wife at home, so I've had to make my coffee in the mornings on my own. I've had to get the child lunch made and out to school for, this is like 3 consecutive days of like super dad stuff. And, so we're coming in. We're checking all the boxes today. So tell me about your coffee, John.
Well, I was going to say, like, most of the time, if I have to be in a rush, like I have one of those things that makes like 6 shots of espresso, like just makes the espresso like right out the gate. But if I have a little bit longer time, I just make one of these like old school percolator coffee that has like way too strong. So I end up going from like where normally it's like a normal human has like 3 or 4 cups of coffee with the espresso. And now I'm going to like 15 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
But it's still in the same amount of time.
People can just like hear the sound of you vibrating around them.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm ready to do all the things.
You're like a 300-pound bumblebee in the room.
Let's go do things, guys.
Before we get started, guys, follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Go to gymownersrevolution.com. That's where you can get in the Gear Academy. If you want to join, want to have us work directly with your gym, that's the place to start. Got questions about what that means, what it means to have us help you take your gym to the next level without selling your soul, without doing a bunch of stupid, hokey, trendy shit? Shoot us a message at the Gym Owners Podcast, or you can email us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. Follow John at jbanksfl. You can follow me at Tyler F. Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone. Today, we've got some stuff to get into. So there's a few things that have been popping up, and I'm seeing a lot of these things happen in commercial gyms, frankly, in 24-hour gyms most of the time. But there's some common issues that we're seeing with not just franchise gyms as a whole, but the fitness culture that we're seeing on the internet. And one of the major issues that's coming to head that I think is something for gym owners to consider. Filming shit in gyms for social media is, I guess, getting out of hand to the point where people hate it. There's confrontations about it. There's people on both sides. There's people calling people out for filming other people. There's people filming other people who are being mean. There's people filming themselves who are being just fine, and other people are freaking out. There's people filming themselves, and then the gym's policy that you can't film yourself even though they're not doing anything wrong. It's crazy that phones, the biggest issue used to be sitting on your phone texting.
Right.
You know, like that was the big distraction for having your phone in the gym. And like, I don't know, I'm that guy. I'm that guy between sets, scrolling on Instagram, picking another song. Like, I'm that fucking guy. I'm that guy. If I'm going to train like a pretty hard session, I'm going to film something in it to put on social media. And I'd love to say, the excuse I would say if someone calls me out for is like, I am technically like a fitness professional. I do make content and sell programs. Like, I kind of do have to do some of that, but that's not anything about why I'm doing it. It's just generally I got to post some workout things because it's what I do. It's no different than me posting me playing guitar, or doing something with the family. Like, it is just the way that it is. People get all high and mighty about like, well, I'm an influencer, or I am a coach and I should do it. And I get all that, but you really don't have any more right than the next guy either. And it's also most of the reason that I do it and that those other people do it. It's just ego. It's cool. It's whatever.
You're just awesome.
Who gives a shit? I just don't. But as a gym man, in your gym, it's an interesting dilemma to have. And I do think it's something that you need to understand what your policy is on it. You need to have a strategy about how you're going to address it, because if you allow it, there will be problems. If you completely, totally ban filming in your gym, there's also going to be problems with enforcing it
Well, it's like, it's that rule, right? Never make a promise you can't keep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of those ideas where it's like, dude, do you want to be like are you the phone police now? Like, is that what your job is now you have to be the guy that walks around and gets mad at people for having their phones out? Or you were just recording. No, sir, I was texting my mother. Like, it's like, what, like,
yeah. Well, no, it specifically is about filming. First off, right? It specifically is filming. And I actually believe that if a gym chooses that to be the case, it's an advantage. It's good for them to a certain audience of people. To a certain client base. There was something I'd seen recently. That's the problem. So many of these videos go viral, whether it's a confrontation about it or whether it's just somebody doing some shit in the gym. Filming in the gym is how we know what goes on in gyms these days. all you
That's
guys out there, you know, that
how
is
I
how it
found out.
works. Yeah. And so, but there was like a Planet Fitness that had somebody's like, hey, is this like our policy normally is that we can't really be filming in here? I don't mind if you do it, but if you're just filming yourself on this treadmill, can you like turn it in this way so you're not just filming down to all these other people who came here to not want to be on camera, right?
True.
And so like if it's just you and like I don't care that like I thought it was pretty reasonable, and this lady was like tried to blast him on the fucking internet. I was like, I don't know, man, you got a $10 membership, you're lucky we're even fucking nice to you about anything, frankly. but if that's the policy, maybe I'm at a gym and I do believe, let's pretend you are the, you know, approachable, cheap, everybody needs to feel welcome type joint, which I don't, that's fine. But like, yeah, maybe those people who are coming in on their first or second day don't want to be filmed there. Or maybe, you know, their wife thinks they're out doing something else and they're in there benching.
It's like my
Whatever
boss.
they-
I can't have my boss see me working out when I'm supposed to be on the job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that McDonald's should ban people from filming themselves eating food in their stores. But like if it becomes an issue where I'm getting filmed, I'm on camera all the time, I'm getting like busted being in McDonald's by other people, like that sucks for me. I don't want that either. I don't want to be in the background of somebody's video at fucking McDonald's.
Right.
But that policy, not just the policy, yes or no, because I think most of you guys out there are going to be like, it's okay as long as people aren't being dicks about it. But just know that now opens up this whole spectrum of possibilities because people are fucking weirdos. And especially if you're a 24-hour access, affordably priced membership, you get a lot of fucking weirdos and a lot of fucking scumbags. And this is going to be probably one of the primary behavioral issues you're going to have to enforce, short of putting your shit away, respecting. It's a matter of respecting other clients. This is someone's yelling or someone's being mean to other people. Filming someone who doesn't want to be filmed is a fucking thing. Filming yourself is one thing, but like catching some stray on camera time on somebody else's shit, like I don't know, like I don't think it's worth freaking out about if it was just me in the background of somebody's video. But like if I don't know that person or like that person, they're doing something I don't fucking like, or if I feel like they're clowning on me, which there's a good portion, all those Joey Swole videos are calling out people who are trying to call out other people for being weird, and so they are being disrespectful. And not in the gym. They're filming it and then going out and putting that person on blast publicly in hopes that it goes viral. It can be a problem for your gym. If you're a 24-hour gym and some guy who's, let's just give this person the benefit of the doubt. Guy A is out there doing some wacky shit on the lat pull down machine. He's doing it all wrong. He looks like a fool. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's doing it with confidence and loudly. And it's annoying to everybody there, right?
Right.
That guy currently maybe is the bit of the issue, but the moment you start filming him and then making fun of him, and then you make a TikTok about it, mocking him, and then it blows up and goes viral. And then Joey Swole goes on and is barking at you for filming and making this guy feel like shit. And now it gets this huge amount of coverage and tons of eyes. What does that do for that gym?
Only negative, right? It's definitely not positive.
20 million people see it, and they just see somebody making fun of somebody in your gym for trying. That's a fucking rough one if you're trying to be approachable. So I understand that don't be filming other people policy that some gyms are going to need to come up with, or you're going to have to ask or whatever. And I know the old heads, dude. I know the old heads in the gym, and the old heads think anyone even with their phone in their hands an idiot. You know what I mean? They're the type to think in a 24-hour gym, if you got your headphones on, you're a dork. We just turn Pantera on and we do it louder. You know, that's but the old guys in the gym, they are just annoyed by the presence of a tripod or a camera or a phone. It's this big eye roll. It's just, this fucking generation of lifters, whatever. They're wrong too.
But you know what's crazy though?
You know what I mean?
Well, like, and fucking like, and I get it. Like, old heads are not this demographic, but they are now old, which is like, how often did the bodybuilders have fucking camera guys around? Like, I feel like Arnold and those cats were always being filmed because of what? Content. Like, it was, they were creating content to be able to put it out. It just is like the mediums are what changes.
And I do think that part of what it is, it's pure, first off, not being mad because somebody is filming in the gym. fundamentally, you're probably just being a hater because you're like, well, you're not some fucking celebrity. What are you going to put it on the old TikToks, you fucking dork? You know what I mean? And then they
Yeah.
don't do anything impressive in the gym either, and nor do they really look all that great. And it's like, okay, but it all starts somewhere, and like people got to make content, and they just have to figure out what the fuck are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to figure it out? It turns into like if somebody wants to become a professional fucking fitness person, where do they start? They start with doing that. So I don't know what to tell you, right?
Right.
Fuck off. Like if you don't like it, like okay, right? Nobody was mad at you when you first came in the gym because you could barely bench press 90 pounds. It's like, no, okay, well, this is how we get better at this. Figure this out. And
Yeah.
I think that it's the same thing. This is just another aspect of modern gym going that is going to continue to float to the surface. I think it's going to be, we talk about gym intimidation, new people feeling intimidated. I think this issue sits at the forefront of it now because it's not just, oh, I get judging looks from people being a concern. It's now these motherfuckers got me on camera, you know, and you got a guy like me lurking around behind you and you're like a regular average person. That's what's always funny for me is there will be like somebody who's 8 inches shorter than me and weighs, 175 pounds. It looks nice and jacked in a vacuum, right? When they're in a photo with good lighting and nobody else there. And then a guy like me walks into frame and it's like, oh, what the fuck is that? So there is a little part of me that I don't like being the freak show in the back of somebody's fucking stuff either,
And there is the gym intimidate of, I guess it just depends on the vibe of your spot. Because for sure, people do get super self-conscious. Like it's self-conscious to even go. Self-conscious that people are looking. And now there's an element where it's like, I could be filmed. It would be like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I'll never come back. Like I'll never be there.
And I like a gym that embraces it. First off, I like the idea that like it gets annoying when you're seeing somebody who's been lifting for 6 months, like trying to start a fucking, or doesn't do anything impressive, trying to start their own little fitness brand. But that's just the hater in me, like hating because it's the same hate that I got when I started doing stuff.
Right.
It's like, what's this guy writing about? Oh, God, they're gonna start a fucking the amount of times I had people who were not in my circle, like in my real circle, posted one. I remember one time on Facebook, some like dude I used to work with who's like a fat alcoholic, do nothing, commented after like 2 years. But at this point, I think I had even owned my gym by this point. So it's like I literally do this for a living now. And he goes, "Have you ever tried like doing a workout and not recording it and putting it on the internet?" Like commented that on a video of me fucking like hitting a PR, and all I did was just blocked him right then and there.
Right.
But that's some shit. That's some shit that if that comes across like too frequently early on in the thing when you are nobody and you have nothing and you aren't good and you're just trying real hard, man, that sucks. That's like smacking a kid in the face for coming up with a new hobby that they're excited about. So that hate in that concept for people trying to make something larger of it sucks. But the gym is also a place to work out. That's
right.
That's what's tricky. And they're not quite doing that. And you're posing and you're trying to do this and it's annoying. It's fucking lame. I get it. Like I get it. It's lame. And it's the gym equivalent to people making TikTok videos just like out in the street. You ever see that? You'll just see a few people like gathered around a phone doing and you're just like, yo, what the fuck? Look at these dorks. But they stick with it long enough. They just stick to it good enough. And by God, those dorks might be very successful for just doing that. So what am I to say? But your gym you need to figure out what you're going to do when and this is, I think, go through thought exercises here, which is just go through like, okay, what if someone's filming and somebody comes to me and is just mad because they're in the background? I don't want you filming me. Get me out of the background. There's a lot of videos that go viral about that on the internet. And it's like, I don't want to be on your thing. It's like, they're so far out in the background. They're like out of focus. And they're like, don't put me in your video. You don't. How are you going to address that as a gym owner when both those people come up to you, furious at the other person and need you to settle it? This is how this plays out in reality. One gets kicked out or one gets told to behave differently. That's how it's going to go. What are you going to do? What is your policy? First off, what do people understand of your gym when they come in? What if somebody pushes that line a little bit too far? So this is a thing that I think you need to be prepared for because it's not just an experience that one person has, right? If I walked into the gym and I'm a new person and I'm starting and I like get some funny looks from people that have been there before, right? I'm like, I feel like they made me feel small. They made me feel like I wasn't welcome there. They felt like they were mocking me, just a couple of people, right? But that experience lives and dies in that moment and I leave. And it's me,
Right.
self-contained. Now that is my experience in your gym. I may go somewhere else. I may tell people in my real life about it, maybe, but maybe not. Now, though, if that experience involves cameras, phones, getting videotaped, and that experience pops off on the internet with someone filming me, making me feel those ways, right? Making fun of me actually on the internet. And now that singular isolated experience that would happen with me in your gym, me feeling like I went there, didn't feel welcome. Now everybody knows that it's a risk when you go to that gym of not feeling welcome and feeling mocked and having it put on the fucking internet. It's high risk. This is a bigger issue, I think, for your brand and for the perceived, what's the word? Welcoming nature?
Welcomeness. Yes.
Perceived, well, I was going to welcome this. I don't know if that's a word. The perceived welcoming nature of your business is on the line. It really is if this stuff starts to go awry. So I just think it's something you need to consider. That's all you guys are seeing of gyms and exercises and everything that you guys are consuming in this culture is getting filmed in a gym. Know that. And know that there are people that don't want it and that there are people that maybe just want it to be reined in. But there's going to need to be rules that you're going to need to have.
And if you're actively the one thing too is if you're a gym and you're actively participating, because that's the one thing where you can see some gyms where members are used to being filmed all the time.
Yeah.
So like there's not a weirdness. And honestly, it's like that action of doing that is you are already almost establishing what your policy is without even talking about it, which is we film people. We're going to be around. We're going to be filming stuff happening. We're going to have those things going on.
What you allow is your policy.
Correct.
What you don't say anything of what happens then is your policy. Anything you don't address, that is your policies. We don't address it. It just happens, which means it opens the door to lots of things. So I think establishing some boundaries internally, having some conversations. You don't have to completely get out in front of it either, because not every issue on this is a do or die. And you get out too far in front of it, you're maybe just being mean. And that's kind of what I think the no filming in our facility at all thing is. I think you're just maybe jumping the gun on that a little bit. But that might be a great appeal. If I got a bunch of people who need to lose 100 pounds, and that's what I want my gym to be, the people who come in like, really, we want to make a change, but it needs to feel welcome. The actually effective version of curves or whatever, you know what I mean? Like a successful version of that, because there's plenty of people who need to feel welcome and need to get these results and maybe don't need to feel like they could be mocked. Very often you're not the one being mocked. You're just not. But you're worried. You're self-conscious, and I get it. But it's got to be addressed.
Well, I know the first thing I thought of when you first brought this idea was like, I'm just glad I live where I live, because I don't see any of this.
Yeah.
Like in small town USA, I don't think you're like it's one of those things too where like you're not experiencing it. So that definitely would be like just words of advice always to like live by is like never make a rule for the exception.
Exactly.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like if you don't have this issue, then don't start making a rule because it'll get really confusing really fast.
Yeah. And I think you need to be prepared, because the situations will arrive, and that policy doesn't need to be fucking, but how you handle it needs to be policy. That policy itself doesn't really need to be public unless you're needing to set a public standard for it.
Especially if you got Gen Zers.
Yeah.
If you got the Gen Z population.
Kids busting out tripods and shit in our spot, and none of them do anything impressive, and none of them look impressive, and none of them fucking know anything either. And it's fine. It just is what it is. But you can feel it from the types. You can just feel some people getting on edge about it. First time I saw a kid who's been in there a long time, and he brings in like a nice camera and tripod. I'm sitting down and talking to him about his setup. I said, camera, what are you using? Why are you filming it horizontally? The fuck are you doing? It's 2020.
What?
Flip it vertical. What are you doing? Nobody's watching it. What are you putting it on YouTube so people can watch it on their television? The fuck
and
out
not
of here.
YouTube Shorts. Like,
Yeah, what are you doing? Nobody's doing consuming fitness content in a wide. So, but there's that type of stuff. So, what are you using to edit? How are you even transferring that? You're filming this in 4K and you're
this
using
is the
some
most.
There's a few of these things where I ask these questions. These are the questions that concern
This
me.
is the most autistic thing ever. Like, it's like,
As soon as
like
I
think
go,
about what we're
"You
saying right
stupid-
now. We're such dorks. Like the idea of like, what are you filming 4K? What is you got a 100-inch screen?
you
Fucking
stupid?
idiot. What's wrong with you?
God, what do you want to spend 45 minutes transferring files every time you do anything? What are you dumb? Yeah, that's true.
Oh shit. That's
Anyway,
awesome.
but this is a part of a larger conversation too that I think we've run into because John, we've worked with a lot of franchise owners, franchise gyms
Yeah.
over the years, and frankly, both within and with inside and outside the fitness industry.
Agreed.
But we've worked with multiple franchise gyms that have multiple locations and gym owners, and this has been frustrating at times because when you and I, the centerpiece of our business is we want your business to have a soul. We want you to care about your clients. We want your clients' results to be the centerpiece. We do not want this to be somebody investing in storage units or car wash or fucking drive-through
Lawn
coffees,
care.
whatever. Like whatever the most
Yep.
common popped up
Pool
new
companies.
cookie
Yeah.
cutter businesses. That's just a formula that's getting run. Like I don't. That's not what. There's a place for that in the fitness industry. John and I just kind of don't care unless you care. And a lot of times you'll get these businesses that come in and it's all just numbers to them. It's just money in, money out. And that should be the case. You should make money. But there's just not a lot of people that get involved in the franchise model that are even really honestly fitness people. And the ones that do, it still doesn't. Based on my experience in a singular statement, the vast majority of franchise gym owners don't care. And I know some watch this and it's not you, don't take it personally, but they just don't care about the outcomes for their clients
Right.
at all.
It's an
Just
investment
not.
opportunity.
It's just not. And that on its own is one thing, assuming that you're good at the business. But what happens is these people start to flail a little bit when things get difficult. And it's like, oh, you never got good at the business. You just got the one thing that the franchise gave you, which is some brand recognition. You kind of like had an immediate, what's the word, spotlight on you amongst the darkness of your market, right? That's just a thing. Oh, people could see, oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of, I won't even drop any names, but like but most commonly, John, when we get involved with them, it's like they're not flexible on really any issues that involve doing things the right way. And that's tough. It's a tough one to deal with. The start today for $1. And it's like, no, you're just moving. We've talked about this before. You're just moving fake money around so you can charge card fees and then activation fees. We've set up this fake situation of fake imaginary money. And then we just say one thing is something it's not, and then now we start today for $1, but these other fees, none of it's fucking real. None of the offers are real. None of the operations are built on client success. Not at all. I don't even see them publicly celebrating the successes of their clients. So like that's not even the pitch when someone comes in. The pitch is it's cheap and the doors don't lock if you have a key card. Like that's kind of it. And it's the most frustrating thing that I've seen in a long time working with. We got 4 or 5 different states we've had, franchisees that we work for. And this is, man, is it tough? Because when you say, okay, well, how are your clients doing? Well, what do you mean? We need to get more of them to sign. Oh, okay.
Well, right
but
now we have
does your
11%.
fucking coach suck?
Mhm.
Like, is that why? Like John, it's always a human resources thing, kind of, that it needs to start leaning into. And most of these gyms operate with absolutely no HR fucking at all. It's underpaid coaches or no coaches, right? And it's just sell first, fucking long-term contracts if possible. Like the whole thing it's really fucking maddening to witness especially when they're paying us to work with them, because you see such an inflexible, cold, ineffective model
You're muted.
Am I back? Quick reset due to technical difficulties. What we've noticed though is we see these very inefficient, not even inefficient for the sake of the client business models.
Well,
They just
and what
go ahead.
and what they want to do. Like, this is where you and I run into this issue. The gym owner comes to us and says, I have a problem. And it's like, okay, well, what about this? Oh, we can't do that. Okay, well, what if we do this way? Well, we don't do that either. It's
Yeah.
like,
Stop
so what do
charging made up fees in the beginning that are disingenuous. No, we can't do that.
we have to do that.
Fuck. It's like, what are you
Okay.
doing? Who's in charge? That's my biggest complaint with franchisees is none of these issues, by the way, are they actually locked in on? Because we've seen what it actually is and what they can and can't do. They can do whatever, a lot of it. Because trust me, they're pretty fucking hands off, short of telling you what you have to spend if they make you spend money on advertising versus whatever. Anyway, aside from that, the franchise specific stuff, there is no, or the whatever. I'll redirect from giving away any proprietary information.
Well, on this thought, though, I think this is a good thought because for me, it is what the franchise wants you to do is shut the fuck up, do what they tell you to do. Don't be a special independent snowflake and think for yourself and just keep the fucking money train going so the fake business can be moved around.
Yeah.
They can continue to be able to raise their fucking stock price and get more schlubs like yourself to try and buy it instead of putting your fucking money into real estate or into a CD or some shit.
Because when your franchise is worth nothing, isn't producing anything, but you've at least, covered all the equipment and stuff, however many years down the road this is, and you go belly up, guess what? Someone else is going to buy your franchise for $1, but they're still going to pay the franchise fees. So the fucking larger system, corporate, is still always getting covered. You just overinvest, grow or don't, whatever, shit the bed. And then somebody else just comes and buys out your loss from under you at fucking nothing. And you just walk away and then they take a crack at it. But corporate's always getting their nut. Always.
Corporate.
Yeah. And so and by the way most of these things work, they also, all of your systems, this ends up just being these corporate fitness stuff operates very much as franchise fitness operates essentially like as an affiliate dealer for software and advertising systems and marketing systems and other firms and billing, fucking card processing and all these back end systems like you still pay for and you kind of have to use those. Why? John, if I set you up with a certain piece of software to do anything, I won't drop any names here, but like say I set up a little online course for you to run, for you to train your employees or whatever, right? You're gonna have to pay me X amount a month to maintain that. That's one thing, but you're also gonna have to pay to use that platform. And because I set it up for you, I get like 150, 200 bucks a month for every one of you there is that's running the software.
Yep.
Okay. Extrapolate that out to 3,000, 4,000 locations. All of a sudden you start to see what the bigger picture is with this stuff. So your corporate HQ does not give a flying fuck about you, your business, or your clients. They only care that when you go belly up, somebody else takes over.
Or they'll buy you at 50% on the 50
Even
cents on the
better.
dollar.
They'll buy you. We've dealt with this situation too, where they'll buy you they'll buy you out when you're distressed, and they'll sit and they hold it until someone else comes in and tries to buy it, and set it up so that they can hand it off to somebody else, so they don't completely abandon the market. But this is the nature of it, and frankly, franchise fucking gym owners don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care about the quality of what's going on in their place, and they don't care about the quality of people that they get, frankly. Anything that doesn't give them a headache, they'll allow. And that's what's tough, man, is you and those facilities now over a long enough timeline, they end up with that reputation. Okay, they just end up, I was talking with a client who has a fair amount of money. And one of the reasons he doesn't even consider going in any of these other gyms, he's like, well, just any fucking moron can go there, he says, which is, let's be real. These people who are successful, motivate, like financially well off, as well as like really working hard in their fitness, they don't want to be in a gym with a bunch of people trying to spend $40 a month.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like I've got clients that don't go to bars around here ever, even for like happy hour stuff, because it's like, I don't want to be seen out here. And then people talk about it's like, no, they're just not about that fucking life. Okay. And to just let any schmuck in your facility, it's fine. $40 is fine, but you're going to get what you're going to get. And it's low standard stuff. And when they come to us, the biggest thing that they come to us with now, how can I sell more big ticket stuff?
How can I help with personal training?
How can I get more personal training? It's like once we start asking questions about staff, who are they? What are they doing? Well, it's like, no, we don't give a shit. We pay them $15-20 a set. You're like, okay, well, I don't fucking care because you don't care. And that's the hardest thing about doing in this industry, trying to do business and make changes in a business when the owner doesn't actually care about the outcomes.
Because the owner is the only one. Like the idea is like the owner, you know who the owner is in a regular mom and pop, like local place, because they're the one picking up the trash. They're the one sweeping. They're the one doing the work because it's their thing. They're passionate about it. They're doing it. They're doing all the grunt work because if you're just somebody that gets paid and what we see this too is that if it's the children of the owner, right? Second generational fucking gym owners or business owners are the fucking worst and why their businesses always fail.
Yeah.
Because it's those little things that matter to people where it's like, this is my baby. I care about it. If that's completely lost upon people that are just looking to try and get a return of 3% annually so they don't have their money parked in the stock market.
So we got some questions every once in a while. We had one come through recently that was about, from a franchise owner saying, how do I get more people who I can't seem to convert as many people as I want who have already been in my gym to personal training, to an upgrade.
Past 6 months.
If they've been, and it's like, well, what did they come to you for? It's like, what do you do and what have you done? Most of you guys are selling $40 fucking memberships. And you kind of tricked them on the way in saying it was $1 or it was free. Then we have imaginary fees that get dropped every fucking year for no reason. That I know you might be watching this. The one guy out there is like, it's bad. It's wrong. Just because nobody complains doesn't mean it's right. I'm telling you this now. Okay. Because so few people complain. Double what you do. Double your sneaky fees then, because we'll get away with most of it too. Okay. There's just a line where it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Okay. But if you're selling race to the bottom, cheap memberships, and that's the only thing you guys are advertising for because it's the only thing you give a shit about. All these franchise owners, here's our $1 interview. Here's our no fee till whatever. Here's our train for free for a month situation. Here's our whatever, right? All of this shit that we end up running for promotions. Is that about success? No. Is it about having a good experience? Is that what we're talking about? Did we do a good job here? No. None of the things that your business is about in an outwardly facing, publicly facing way is good. All the stuff that you're putting out in your marketing is that you're cheap. Okay. So then when I come for cheap and I get in for cheap and I'm in cheap, you wonder why I don't want to start spending $800 a month here? No, you're the cheap John. When I get enough money to fucking go somewhere else, I'm going to go somewhere that's fucking good to do it.
But Tyler, what if
$1,000 a month? I'm not going to do it at a place that does $40 a month fucking business. That would be really fucking stupid. I'm going to go somewhere that actually does good business and does it right and cares. And this is what they fucking do.
What if I can get them on a 2-year contract? What about a 2-year contract? And then it makes it really cheap.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right? We'll personal train for 2 years.
Parts that are in play for these businesses. Like, can I just get people who came here to spend no money? Why don't they want to spend the most money? And this isn't about not being able to sell personal training. It's that you have to fix your introductory process. You got to actually fucking market. You got to do some things that like normally you got to address some issues that normally people who are going to join a gym or try to make fitness a part of their life and make a change. You need to do some things that are going to appeal to those people.
Right.
And you're not singing that song when you're just telling me you can come here. Here is the price. Here is the price. And then come in like, would you like to spend a fortune? Because our coach is a fucking rule. And we are in the business of transformations. And we have great professional coaches and we have awesome client testimonials. Like, well, maybe you should have fucking led with that.
That should have been the ad.
Because I am a person who's not going to join a $40 fucking gym.
Because of how hard they've worked. They've worked so hard, though, not to be that.
I know.
They've worked really hard not to be the highest end spot in town. So if you worked really hard to do that, it's then hard to, because this is, Tyler, here's what's real though. This is why we want to talk about it. Because the gym owner, the guy that is there, he may have gotten involved, right? You guys that have these franchises, and if you're a franchisee that's listening to this and we haven't engaged with you directly, it's, you may have got into it because it's, I like this and I do want to be able to get immediate brand recognition, and I had some cash that I stored, but I do want to be a good gym owner. And the problem is that you get into this thing and it is fucking awesome. Everything is sharp, everything is clean, the marketing is neat, like everything is there. But you're going to get in it after a couple of years or your first year, and you'd be like, you're going to start to feel that glass ceiling. Because this is what we've experienced. We've watched this happen because we have had clients that are in a franchise system that is a $40 to $50 a month client. And then we have clients that are not in a franchise system that are 40 to 50 a month, like setup for their intro offer. And differences are literally on their ear, right? They're flipped between the two when it comes to what's the percentage of people that are in your base membership and versus the coached product. Typically, it's between 80% in a non-coached product and about 20% in a coached product in the franchise system.
They average two to four times their monthly base membership is what they average per client. Now, if you're a 24-hour spot, what you're getting is 1 or 2% above your fucking base membership. You know, that's the reality, because nobody's moving up the ladder because you say down at the bottom of the ladder is where all the sweet shit is, or it's the only fucking thing you're talking about, or the only thing you give a shit about. Get them in, get them in, get them in, get them in, get them in.
And so you feel that pain because you're like, well, I have to change something. I need to be able to move people up. I got to be able to send them to a higher level of service. And all that you have in your mind, because this is the system you've been taught in, is I need to get people on longer contracts. Meanwhile, somebody that's not stuck in that system literally has an inverted. 80% of their people are in a coached product with 20% in the base product. And the difference, Tyler, in revenue was shocking. Like I did not fully appreciate the difference of literally sitting at, because we did the numbers with coach, you know, with location A and location B. And it's like location A is struggling to be able to operate at real money, not pretend monopoly, fake ass contract money.
Contracts are worth so that you can take out a loan against that next year, as they all
struggling at
go into default after fucking on average 85 days.
So they're struggling at 20 to 25K a month. Meanwhile, location B is sitting between 50 to 60 a month
in real money.
And we were like,
cash money.
Oh yeah, like real money, like revenue, actual cash flow on a monthly basis. And we were like, oh, this is the greatest example ever.
Yeah. Without being a huge facility, without having 1,000 members, not even
correct. Close. Not and yeah, probably a quarter of the members that the franchise has.
And one of the things about this is here's the biggest difference we see, and this is the biggest shame that I will put onto the franchise owners that we see out there, is the clients that are loyal to them, clients that are loyal to a franchise gym. That loyalty is usually only based on price. That's the only reason they choose to stay with you for the most part. It kind of works. They didn't fuck it up, but price is the main reason that they're loyal to you. And that's great. If you don't give a shit about making a difference in your community, about actually any of these people having success. Do you know why my clients are pretty loyal to me, John? Because they fucking have success.
Right.
They have a good experience that is very carefully curated by me. They get results that are very carefully crafted and planned out by me. Okay. There is an effort and a fucking real drive towards making sure that they are successful in accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish. That's why it fucking works. If they stuck with me for a long amount of time and it was just because I was cheap, none of us fucking win here. None of us win. So with these franchisees, the franchise gyms, this is the biggest problem. Your loyalty is based because you got them locked in a fucking contract and you're cheaper than the other guy. Well, that fucking sucks, dude. That sucks. And when we look at there's a larger picture here. And this is why I shit on franchise gyms a lot. By the way, I train in one. I train clients in one. This isn't, I'm not like shitting on this place here, but like, man, is it a fucking tough game when you look back at some of these numbers here, John? Over the last 50 years, the fitness industry has grown from approximately in the 70s, about $1.5 million a year in the 70s, to $35 billion last year.
God.
I don't even know. That's like it's like, is that like a 30,000 time increase? I don't even know what that fucking math is. That's fucking crazy, right? Now, during that time, so what does that mean? Let's pretend inflation's not real, but what that means is this industry has grown. This industry is extracting a lot of fucking money from the people now to the tune of $35 fucking billion a year. $35 billion, just the gym industry. Are we fitter?
Well, we better be.
Right? Better be, right? Now, as a society, Americans are choosing to spend essentially $35 billion more than they were spending before. So we should be $35 billion fitter, and yet we are not. Obesity during that time has quadrupled. The percentage, by the way, not just the number of people, the percentage of the population is tripled. We'll call it tripled. That's fucking crazy. So this is the problem, though, is those most successful models in what? Revenue are getting people who are loyal, not because they got results, just because it's affordable. And they're kind of making some money, but it's not great. So there's just a shitload of them out there. And guess what? People aren't getting fitter. And I know that there is a larger conversation to be had about food supply and education and yada, 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 yada. You're the fucking industry that people are going to get in shape, though. This is the problem. They're turning to you. You are taking the money and you don't give a fuck whether or not they're successful. Not at all. You got these people have terrible coaches on their staff. They don't take care of their coaches. They don't really give a shit. Or if they're trying to put people in front of coaches, it's just low quality leads and this high pressure fucking sales shit. That's the worst one. High pressure sales shit and trying to lock people into 1 or 2 year contracts that involve personal training is fucking crazy to me, in my opinion. That I got no patience for. I want short-term commitments that people can re-up on. By the way, always be in, because that keeps our sights on fucking success. This is how this works in the actual long run for clients, for people, for your community. But this whole system right now, it's all fucked up, and it's all worked great for everybody but the people who are paying you money.
Everybody else is making their nut.
This is
what's crazy.
Along the same line, John, what has our healthcare industry done in the last 50 years, right? Fucking probably like 10,000x, right? And yet, as a society, we're less healthy. Now, is that the cause or the response? I don't know. So there's a lot of things that move hand in hand with this process. But the things that are extracting the money from the people are obviously not getting what they're paying for. So being cheap even isn't fucking helping you, and it's not helping them. That's the worst part. You're so cheap that you think that's what they want. It's not what they want. And it certainly isn't what they need.
For our circles, my guess is if you've made it this far and you continue to listen to us, you're going to be closer to our circle than not. We've woke up to what the pharmaceutical industry is, right? The same way where people have made complaints over the years, where it's like, I'm starting to get the feeling that the pharmaceutical industry may not be in the same business as helping people be healthy.
Who'd have thought?
Right. But we're all in kind of agreement with that, especially when you start to look at, like, I remember I saw the statistics for, like, whether it was Purdue or fucking Pfizer, where it was like they made their certain X amount of money for the first 100 years of being open. And then in the last 5 years, they've like 300x'd it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, we're all kind of on that train where we're like, we don't believe what they say they're supposed to be doing. Maybe that system's not broken. Maybe that system is doing exactly what it was always intended to do.
Yeah.
Keep us sick and just keep us alive.
And I think that's a good reference point for what is going on with the fitness industry. This isn't a side effect or a symptom. This is what we've done with the specialized franchise models. What they've done, this is exactly what it's there to do. This is not an anomaly. This is exactly what it's there to do. We take money. We want people to come in until they stop coming in, and then we want them to keep paying. That's our goal. Our goal is 90% of people do not set foot in this gym in a month. That's our goal. because otherwise it's about the whole business model has to be built on that. And by the way, that can still kind of be the case because it's human nature, but you can remove the problem is for those 90% that aren't coming in at all, that don't come in, they have a chance of succeeding? Well, every time the money runs, they have a chance, right? They have a chance of getting reminded, fuck, I'm paying for this, I need to get in. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. That's why for many reasons, but that's one reason why I advocate, listen, if you're letting people come to you and pay you, you're a fucking idiot. Right. Like people, it needs to be automatic. It's insane. But we've had gyms that were new that were still collecting
That have
payments
started
by
there.
fucking hand. And we're like, no, 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 no. And it's
Right.
not about taking money from people who aren't going. It's that every time somebody gets an automatic payment that runs through, they go, oh yeah, shit, I got to get going in there. Right. Because then they're not just going to show up with money in hand when they ain't been in for a few months. Oh, do I got to pay back for those times I didn't come in? Right. There's a bunch of weird social issues that create a barrier to them getting back in when it's not automated. But aside from that, the whole system is geared for them not coming in. Essentially, that's what it is. That's why you want 2-year contracts. Do you want 2-year contracts because you want this person showing up 4 days a week for the next 2 years? I don't think so.
Are they going to?
Fuck
No.
no.
Does the system that you're running, is it literally built, guaranteed that they won't make it?
Yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be. Your business will fail. This is the problem with franchise model. Your business will fail if all of your people show up to the gym and are successful. Is this fundamentally built into your business model that your business will break. It will be too crowded. They will have bad client experiences. It would like a huge, vast majority of them will not be able to actually be there. There won't be enough space. Your business will fail if people actually show up. So you are literally you're shorting their success. That is a bet against them. And that is why these businesses do not fucking care. It's the only thing I need to see. That's it. And I'm like, I tell all of them, I'm like, be more expensive. Find some good coaches. Can't find some good coaches? Find some coaches with compassion. Start working on it. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but unless your business is about people, you're going to have a hard time having an impact. And again, all you're selling is access. Fine. But know that that's the fucking limitation. And you really need to know that. And then don't pretend like you're real about this. You can't. You can't. You might as well just start selling soda. You know what I mean? I don't get it. There are people that can do any job and not give a shit about it. There's plenty of people. I'm not going to look around you. Look at who you see. Your garbage man loves his day. Does the person at Walmart love their day? Everyone you see loving their day and loving their job? No. But if you don't, I don't want to fucking work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like in this capacity or be associated with your business in any way. Like if you're just one of those we're just throwing some numbers around and hopefully it all, well, that seems fucking hopeless, joyless, soulless, fucking stupid. What a waste of the years you have on this fucking earth to just leech when the opportunity in fitness and health, the opportunity of impact you could have. Jesus. And this is the reason I stay in this industry. Because every year I had a client that I told you about recently. I had a client who just dropped like damn near 30 pounds in 5 weeks. Just flat changed his fucking life. Flat. I mean, he's an absolutely different human being right now. Just in 5 weeks of just, here's this process. Let's go through this. If you guys knew, this is the problem. These franchise gym owners don't even fucking know what they're missing. They don't even have a clue because they don't swim in that success all the fucking time. Okay.
Right.
They have no fucking idea. And if you were really dealing that out in your community, and then you see these people out in town, and you hear what they say about you, and you hear what their family says about you, and you hear the referrals that you get from them, and about like you would never fucking go back. You would immediately start charging more. You would immediately weed out the bullshit. You would immediately change your structure so that you're focusing on how can I help these people be successfully, not for cheap, be more successful, not for cheap, not for cheaper, not to make it more accessible, but just to make it a situation that is built to give them success. That's fucking it. And these franchise gyms are not it. No, and it's unfortunate. I would love to get in to buy a franchise gym and then do it right. That'd be great. But then what's the use of the franchise other than a bunch of fucking shit in the name? Right. That's the only hang up is then I'm just getting there. That format of a gym would be wonderful, but I can't do business that way.
No, it would have to be a franchise that really is been done right. The person that's running it, they know what they're doing. They know what they've done. The way
I,
you know the go ahead.
but I also think their target demographic is what I would want. That's what's tough. Not. By the way, let me rephrase that. Not the income, not the lowest income, but what they are masquerading as.
Yeah,
Franchise
average
gyms
person.
are out masquerading as people that are as a gym that's there so that people can of any walk of life can come in and have a chance to get fit.
Yeah,
Right. Except their businesses are built on them not coming in because it's the only fucking way it works. Their business is built on them paying, but not paying, staying, but not coming in, not attending anything. That's how that's how your business has to work. So that sucks. If I were to set my target demographic, it would still be like people who want to train in a public gym, right? I wouldn't want to go extreme or tough guy shit. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want it to be accessible for people who are skinny, fat, fit, whatever. It needs to be welcoming, it needs to be good vibes, no judgment shit, right? I'm all about that. But it's going to need to be a little more expensive because I do want to scrape off the fucking types that eat McDonald's at the machines or whatever, or track mud into the sauna or wear, mud boots around on the carpet or eat popcorn while they're
right.
lifting. Like that's fucking and making it like that's crazy to me, But like price your way out of that, give everybody a good chance of success, and you might be onto something. But that format of a gym is exactly what I would want. I would want people coming to my spot thinking this is a 24-hour spot. They got all this equipment. It's awesome. But then you also need to have it needs to be like just getting into the river. The flow should just really carry them towards it being successful, not the flow being, okay, now when you get bored, you're going to keep paying us and you're going to go sit on your couch. That
Right.
ain't it. You got to be the place where people come in and get fucking awesome. And that's what frustrates me the most about these gyms. Because when a gym owner doesn't give a shit, people are becoming awesome in your facility. It does happen. But people come in and do awesome shit almost against, almost in spite of your system.
Yeah,
People
against the
come in
odds.
and get great in spite of your system, not because of it. And that's what sucks.
And you know this to be true, like across the board, not just within the franchise system, because I guarantee you from our work that we've done with franchises, I guarantee you that your franchise, if it hasn't happened yet while you've owned it, I guarantee you it's going to in the next 5 years, which you are going to be proposed to buy something from them that's going to be fancier, more technologically savvy, more of it, whatever it is, but it's going to be pieces of equipment. It's going to be something because that's what we're in. Because if you look at the fitness industry at large, the most trendiest shit goes right in line with that $35 billion number, right? Which is the trendiest shit seems to be stuff that shit just gets more and more expensive. Now, what's going to be trendy for fitness is no longer, right? What we've seen before when we've looked back, Tyler, over the years, we've looked back like 2004, right? Like it was body weight exercise.
Yeah.
It was like a trendy, like some of these things that almost don't require you to buy anything. There's no industry that can be, no cottage industry that can be propped up and supported. It's not a big fucking surprise that like the top 3 most trendiest shit right now are cold plunges, wearable technology, and a fucking Pilates machines. Like Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen how much those motherfuckers cost?
Crazy, right?
And so hold on. The most trendiest things for me to think about as somebody that wants to think about fitness is I have to now buy, like, all these cottage industries now are totally propped up and supported by this capitalistic monster that's eating itself, which I'm not like, listen, I'm all about capitalism.
Yeah, we all got to eat.
But this is now, again, we're starting to identify these concepts, and everything that we're seeing of ends up just being that snake shitting into its own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we start to realize, no, this is a problem.
And I think it's important for those of you that are franchise owners, start to, what John just said, start seeing the stuff that if you have a relationship with corporate. Some can operate a lot on their own or whatever, but you start turning to corporate for any help. Talk to your regional territory person, right? Ask some questions. Then look into the solutions that they're presenting to you, whether it is equipment, software, strategies, whatever. And I want you to think very clearly that, like, okay, what are the odds that they're getting a kickback on this? Know that none of their recommendations are about you, or even worse, none of their recommendations are about your clients. at all. Like fucking none. It's all like you got to buy this thing, so we get a cut. It's this equipment, not this equipment. What they think is a good idea, what they think is a bad idea. It's only what serves them best. And you can get into some conversations with him where it's about best practices that we found from here or from there. But what they don't do is bring up all the cautionary tales from all the ones that went belly up, or that essentially just had to get basically salvage bought. It's a shame. Now, what's interesting, you mentioned that a lot of these trends now, they're just purchases, right? Like the larger fitness trend, not just for the fitness industry, but for like the consumer. It's, I need an Apple Watch. I need a fitness tracker. I need this. I need the Whoop band. I need all this shit. But none of it in there is like just directly like pay someone who knows how you should eat.
Yeah.
Have them tell you how you should eat, and then hold you accountable so that you eat those things. If that was honestly like the number one fitness trend, like, holy shit, do you know how much a dietitian actually costs to give you a plan? And then like a little bit extra to have to check in with them, just in like I do with my program, a system where it's like you check in with me every morning, really twice a day. You're going to show me your weight, what you ate for breakfast. And then we, any questions around the program. But like, that's not that much fucking money in the grand scheme of things compared to how successful, like the rate of success that you have on that versus just buying an Apple Watch. Jesus.
Do you want to know one of the crazier things? So for a while, I got to roll in some higher roller circles. Just folks that were making a lot more money and they were playing the game of business and entrepreneurship at a much higher level, like legitimately higher level. And I remember in one of the conversations, we were in some like breakout session or some shit, and somebody was talking about like what you would do when you start what's one of the things that you'll stop doing that like you do now once you hit a goal of income. And the person that was talking about it was telling the story saying, hey, my experience when I did this to help kind of just grease the rails, get everybody thinking about it. But she goes, I got a personal chef and I had a personal chef that cooked for me. She goes, the goal I wanted was to eat healthier so I could lose weight. And as soon as I saw how much it would cost for me to get like one of the Peloton, like treadmills or some shit. And then I looked at what the cost was to get an actual personal chef that would make all of her food for her. She goes, it was just too affordable to buy the chef. It's like, what? Really? Like that's for me, that's crazy, right? I never would like, and so that's where it's like, just imagine if it's not trying to hustle some piece of equipment or wearable or some shit that now that is on every single, like sponsors every goddamn podcast and is involved with every goddamn thing that we see online or on TV. And it's like, no, just hire, like the best thing you could do for your health is to hire a personal trainer or hire a nutritionist or hire a chef or hire whatever. And it's not like, so it just is, I think it just is, we're all being distracted. And very clearly that number of how much we're spending versus how fat every fucking person is clear evidence of it.
On my client list right now, currently, so far, it's hasn't even been 8 weeks into this year. We got clients that are down. I have a total of over 100 pounds down. Now, I don't coach very many clients, and I have 2 or 3 that are not weight loss clients, right? That are performance clients.
Right.
But of these small handful, it's like an average of like, now it's like over 20 pounds per person, right? So far this year. And I have issued this challenge to you gym owners and coaches out there on this show every fucking year.
Oh yeah.
Make your thing how much fucking weight you can get people to lose this year in your gym. Track it. Get them in. That's the success you should seek. That is the success you should embrace. Hey, unless you're a jump higher gym. If you're a jump higher gym, teach people to jump high. That's wonderful. But know that that's not what the franchise gyms are for. That's not what they're there for. So just like, can your system somewhere in there, even if it's just a game for Christ's sake, be about helping people come do the one thing they came there to do. That's the problem. This is what most of your inquiries are about: losing weight. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck? And we haven't seen any gyms do it. We haven't seen it. And I don't hold our Gear Academy gym people to this because they have other things going on. And there are other things that we're doing because the entire system is changing shape. But for you out there as a gym owner, set a fucking goal to get I'm going to be here with a handful of clients and very likely will peel 1,000 pounds off of my fucking town this year. Very likely.
Right.
The fuck are you doing with your 6, 7, 8, 900, 1,500, 1,800 members? Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And that's why it's disappointing to me. Because even these gyms that we've worked with in the past or coaches that I've known from all over the world, you know what I don't see? Success of their clients. I don't see it. Now, if you're going to show something, that would be the thing to show, wouldn't it? And that's what I found, that the biggest thing that we've seen is that now this industry grows, the success of the clients does not. People aren't successful and you continue to take more money. You're now just Scientology, like, oh, well, you keep paying me and the truth is going to be right around the corner. The fitness industry is that. It's just a Scientology scam. No, you just keep paying for 2 more years and you don't have to come in at all. And then you'll figure out who you want. And oh, that didn't work. Well, maybe come back next year, go to the other spot. But the whole industry is going to take it. Start buying supplements that you found on the fucking internet. Whatever this is, but the whole fitness industry is going to continue to take and take and take. And the promise is right around the corner. Right around the corner.
I was literally going to say, the problem is that most of you gyms have become people's church.
Yeah.
And the problem is that at least if I'm going to church and I'm giving money to my church every year, I'm going to get a document that shows how much money I can write off on my taxes.
Yeah.
The fact is, you motherfuckers aren't sending me nothing to allow me to get Uncle Sam off my back for the amount of money I've given you.
Yeah. It's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. So, guys, I don't know. I'm not shitting all over. Maybe we shit all over everybody in a lot of directions today. But the industry, I think, is, in my opinion, the industry is poised to do well this year. It's always poised to do well because everybody's out of shape, and now everybody is seeking another solution. Okay, so the industry is poised to make a lot of money. I think in that process, if you're actually a person who can build your business around the success of the client, you're not now, the loyalty to you is actually going to be about because you did right by them, because they really got what they came here to get. And that's why they're going to be loyal. That's why they're going to refer people to you. Okay. That is the spot where I think you can carve out a niche and really, really, really do really well. That's how you make a name for yourself, by the way. If you're a smaller operation in your community, this is how you float to the top. Okay. These gyms that all want to charge the same or less than the other place, lest they fucking lose all of your worst clients that are the dirtiest, messiest, least loyal, fucking least desirable people to be around. I go for it, I guess. But I hate that. So be better, actually have your shit be about your clients being successful. And I promise you'll float to the top. It doesn't take long for coaches and personal trainers who actually get people results, and actually not just results in the outcome, but also give them a good client experience. Okay. That is a solid outcome, is going in and hiring a personal trainer and liking it and losing the weight and getting what you came there to do and feeling better and all that stuff. That if you can over deliver like that, it's the easiest shit in the world to get new clients. This is exactly, when we got 2 coaches around this area here that show up at a spot, immediately everybody in that place, including the owners, like, holy shit, this is awesome. People love working with you. I don't even have to, oh, you're just full all the time? Perfect. You sell your own because you're so good. Okay, take notes, because that's how that fucking works. That's what being good at your thing really is. Okay, so if you want to be good, be about that life, message us or you can email us directly at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. Follow the show at Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Tyler F. and Stone. It's Tyler EFF Ian Stone. And John?
You can follow me on Instagram at jbanksfl.
Thanks for listening to us rant. Get in the Gym Owners Revolution Facebook group. If this rings a bell with you, we want you on the team. So let's get on board. We'll see you later.